It happens to all of us. The coffee spills, someone cuts us off in traffic, a stranger says something rude, and suddenly, we're furious. Hours of peace can be destroyed in seconds by something so small, so meaningless. Later, we laugh at ourselves and say, "Why did I even get so angry over that?" Yet in the moment, the fire feels uncontrollable. The Stoics believe that anger at trivial things is one of the greatest thieves of life. Not because those small irritations matter, but because they don't. To give them your peace, your energy, your dignity, that is to hand away the most precious thing you have for the cheapest of prices. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that the value of our lives is measured not by how much we control the world, but by how much we control ourselves. This episode is about reclaiming that control, about learning to stop wasting your strength on the little things that don't deserve it. Together, we'll explore 10 Stoic lessons that will help you master your temper. From recognizing the futility of anger, to reframing annoyances as opportunities, to remembering that life is far too short to waste in rage. By the end, you'll see that calm is not only possible, it's your greatest power. 1. Recognize the futility of anger. Anger often feels justified in the moment. Something irritates you, someone disrespects you, life throws a small inconvenience your way, and immediately the mind says, "This is worth being angry about." But if you step back, if you look at it with clarity, you'll see that anger does not solve the problem. It only adds to it. The Stoics were clear on this. Anger is futile. It changes nothing in the external world, yet it poisons the internal one. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself again and again that anger is weakness disguised as strength. It feels powerful, but what does it actually achieve? Does shouting at the traffic make it move faster? Does cursing the spilled coffee put it back in the cup? Does lashing out at someone's mistake undo it? Of course not. The world remains as it is, but you are left disturbed, drained, and smaller for having surrendered your peace. When you recognize the futility of anger, you begin to see it for what it really is: wasted energy. You realize that every moment spent in fury is a moment stolen from your calm, your clarity, your ability to think and act wisely. Anger does not fix the problem. It blinds you to better solutions. Think of a fire breaking out in your house. Would you pour gasoline on it because you're upset that it started? That's exactly what anger does. It doesn't put out the fire of the situation, it feeds it. The Stoics understood that wisdom is about conserving your strength for what matters, not squandering it on reactions that achieve nothing. So the next time you feel anger rising, pause and ask yourself, what will this anger accomplish? Will it solve the problem, or will it simply enslave me to it? Most of the time, the answer is obvious. And with that realization comes freedom. Because once you see that anger is useless, you no longer feel compelled to obey it. 2. Separate facts from your interpretation. Every upsetting moment in life has two parts: what actually happened, and the story you tell yourself about it. The fact itself is usually simple. A glass falls and breaks. Someone interrupts you. Your plans get delayed. But your interpretation is what sets fire to your mind. This always happens to me. They don't respect me. My whole day is ruined. The Stoics insisted that it's not the facts that disturb us, but the judgments we attach to them. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself in his meditations to strip events down to their bare reality. Instead of saying, "I've been insulted," he would say, "A man spoke words." Instead of saying, "I've been wronged," he would say, "Something happened." When you separate the fact from your interpretation, the power of the event to upset you vanishes. What remains is neutral, manageable, often insignificant. Think of it this way. Imagine someone splashes mud on your clothes while driving by. The fact is clear. Your clothes are dirty, but your interpretation decides your peace. You can say, "This ruined my day. People always disrespect me," and spend hours in anger. Or you can say, "My clothes are dirty. I will clean them and move on in minutes. The difference is not in the event, it's in your story. When you learn to separate fact from interpretation, you gain freedom. You stop being dragged into anger over things that, at their core, are trivial. You begin to see that most of what upsets you is not reality, but the lens through which you view it. Change the lens, and the upset dissolves. So practice this. When something triggers you, pause and ask, what actually happened? And what story am I adding to it? More often than not, you'll realize that the fact is small, and the story is what makes it heavy. And if the story is yours, you can rewrite it. 3. Understand that others act from ignorance, not malice. When someone cuts you off, lies to you, or treats you unfairly, the mind quickly assumes, they're doing this to hurt me. That belief is what fuels the fire of anger. But the Stoics urged us to see things differently. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning, today I will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They act this way because they do not know good from evil. In other words, people act from ignorance, not from a calculated desire to harm you personally. This perspective changes everything. If you believe malice is everywhere, you live in constant battle, always defending, always ready to explode. But if you see ignorance instead of malice, your heart softens. You realize that the liar lies not to destroy you, but because he doesn't yet know the value of truth. The arrogant boast not to belittle you, but because they do not understand humility. The impatient lash out not because you deserve attack, but because they have not learned self-control. It is like being angry at a child for stumbling when they are learning to walk. Their fall is not an attack on you. It is a reflection of their stage of growth. Most adults are still stumbling in their own way, untrained in wisdom, slaves to impulse. To be angry at them is as foolish as being angry at the child. This does not mean you tolerate abuse or excuse wrongdoing. It means you refuse to let ignorance steal your peace. You protect your calm by recognizing the truth. People act from who they are, not from what you deserve. Their flaws are theirs to carry. You do not have to carry them with anger. So when faced with rudeness or betrayal, remind yourself, they act from ignorance, not from malice. Their actions reflect their weakness, not my worth. In that moment, anger loses its grip and clarity takes its place. 4. Train your mind to pause before reacting. Anger is fast. It arrives like a spark, and if you let it, it becomes a wildfire before you've even realized what happened. That's why the Stoics taught the importance of the pause, the brief space between stimulus and response. In that space lies your freedom. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that it is not the event, but his judgment of it that creates disturbance. The pause gives you time to examine that judgment before it controls you. Think of a sword drawn in haste. If swung immediately, it may strike wildly, causing damage you cannot undo. But if held steady for just a moment, aimed with clarity, it can be directed with precision. Your mind works the same way. If you pause, even for a breath, you allow yourself to respond with strength instead of reacting with weakness. This pause doesn't need to be long. It could be as simple as counting to 3 before you speak, taking one slow breath before you answer, stepping away for a minute before making a decision. These small acts of restraint create the gap in which wisdom can appear. Without the pause, you are a slave to your impulses. With it, you are a master of yourself. Imagine someone insults you. Your instinct is to snap back. But in the pause, you ask, does this serve me? Will my reaction improve the situation, or will it only add to the fire? More often than not, you'll see that silence, calm, or even a measured response is far more powerful than anger. Training this pause is like strengthening a muscle. At first, it feels impossible. You notice your anger only after it has erupted. But with practice, the space grows larger. The more you exercise it, the more natural it becomes, until one day the pause is automatic, and your reactions are transformed into thoughtful responses. The Stoics saw this discipline as the key to inner freedom, because once you learn to pause, no one, not insults, not setbacks, not trivial frustrations, can force you to betray your calm. 5. Reframe annoyances as opportunities for growth. Most people treat annoyances as interruptions, tiny intrusions that ruin their peace. The slow cashier, the traffic jam, the person chewing too loudly. But the Stoics saw these very moments as practice, as training grounds for the soul. Marcus Aurelius wrote that every difficulty is raw material for virtue, that even the smallest irritation is a chance to strengthen patience, humility, and self-control. Think of it like exercise. The weight you lift is resistance. It slows you down, makes the movement harder. But that very resistance is what builds your strength. Annoyances are the weights of the mind. Each one is an opportunity to lift a little more, to practice calm under pressure, to grow stronger where others grow bitter. Imagine waiting in a long line. Most people grumble, sigh, and stew in irritation. But a Stoic reframes the moment. Here is a chance to train patience. Here is a chance to remind myself that my peace does not depend on the speed of the world. Or when someone interrupts rudely, instead of seeing only disrespect, the Stoic thinks, here is a test of my self-control. Here is a chance to practice restraint. This shift in perspective changes everything. Instead of being drained by small frustrations, you are strengthened by them. Instead of anger consuming you, you use the moment to cultivate discipline. What once felt like a curse becomes a gift. Of course, this is not easy. It takes training, but each time you reframe an annoyance as practice, you grow. And over time, the very things that once triggered you become powerless. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And begin to say, this is happening for me, to build me, to shape me, to strengthen me. The Stoics believe that life itself is the classroom, and every irritation is a lesson. If you can see it this way, you'll find that annoyances no longer disturb your peace. They sharpen it. 6. Don't take yourself too seriously. At the heart of many small angers lies pride. Someone bumps into you and doesn't apologize, and you feel disrespected. Someone laughs at your mistake, and you feel humiliated. Someone forgets to acknowledge you, and you feel invisible. In each case, the irritation grows because you've taken yourself too seriously, as if the world should revolve around your image, your importance, your expectations. The Stoics saw through this illusion. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of how small he was in the vastness of the universe, how brief life is compared to eternity. When you zoom out to that perspective, how can the petty slights of everyday life deserve your fury? To take yourself too seriously is to magnify every insult, every inconvenience, until they dominate your mind. But to laugh at yourself, to see your own flaws with humility, is to make anger dissolve before it even begins. Think about it. When you are secure in who you are, a joke at your expense doesn't sting, it amuses you. When you're humble, a mistake doesn't ruin your confidence, it becomes a lesson. When you understand your smallness in the grand scheme of things, someone else's rudeness feels less like an attack and more like passing noise. Humor is a powerful Stoic tool. Not sarcasm aimed at others, but the gentle humor that frees you from taking yourself too seriously. If you can laugh at your own errors, shrug at small slights, and see yourself as one imperfect human among billions, anger finds no foothold in you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Receive without pride, let go without attachment." The same applies here. Live without the burden of self-importance. The lighter you hold yourself, the less others can weigh you down. So the next time something small provokes you, ask, am I truly upset at the event, or at the story I tell myself about my own importance? Often, the anger vanishes when you realize the answer. 7. Control is freedom, and anger gives it away. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes not from controlling the outside world, but from mastering yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote again and again that while we cannot command events, we can always command our responses. That is the essence of freedom, to remain sovereign over your own mind, regardless of what happens outside you. But what happens when you give in to anger? You hand that freedom away. The person who provokes you becomes your master. The situation that irritates you dictates your inner state. You are no longer acting. You are being acted upon. And in that moment, you are not free. You are a prisoner to rage. Think of someone who insults you. If you erupt, you've given them power. They pushed a button, and you reacted exactly as they intended. They are now in control, not you. But if you remain calm, if you refuse to surrender your peace, then you remain free. Their insult bounces off you, leaving them frustrated and you untouched. This is why anger is so costly. It is not just a bad feeling. It is a transaction in which you trade your control for nothing in return. You lose your clarity, your dignity, your strength, and you gain nothing but regret. To guard your freedom, you must guard your mind. Every time anger tempts you, remind yourself, if I give in, I give away my control. If I stay calm, I remain free. That single thought can be enough to shift you back into sovereignty. The Stoics knew that kings and emperors who could not master their anger were slaves, while even the lowliest person who ruled themselves was free. Control is the highest form of freedom, and anger is the quickest way to lose it. 8. Choose calm as your default response. Most people treat calm as a rare accident, something that happens only when life is easy, when no one is testing them. But the Stoics flip this idea. Calm should not be the exception, it should be your baseline. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that his duty was to return to reason, no matter what others did, no matter how chaotic the world became. Calm is not weakness. It is the steady ground on which strength is built. Choosing calm as your default response means training yourself to meet every situation with composure first. When someone insults you, your instinct is to flare up, but instead, you choose calm. When plans collapse, your instinct is to panic, but instead, you choose calm. When the small frustrations of daily life pile up, you refuse to let them dictate your state. You meet them with steadiness, not storm. Calm does not mean indifference. It does not mean you don't care. It means you care enough to respond wisely, rather than waste your energy on fury. It means your first reaction is no longer to fight or complain, but to breathe, to assess, to act from clarity. Over time, this becomes a habit, a way of being. Think of it like water. A calm lake reflects the world clearly. A stormy one distorts everything. Your mind works the same way. When you are calm, you see truth. When you are agitated, everything becomes twisted. Calm, then, is not just peace. It is perception. It allows you to act with wisdom instead of confusion. To choose calm as your default is to decide in advance. No matter what happens today, I will not give away my peace. My calm is mine. It cannot be stolen unless I hand it over. And when you live this way, you stop wasting yourself on trivial anger. You save your strength for what matters most. 9. Remember that life is too short for trivial anger. Every moment you spend in anger is a moment you never get back. Life is already brief. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself of this truth, reflecting on how quickly even emperors are forgotten, how short and fragile each day truly is. To waste that precious time raging at spilled coffee, slow traffic, or careless words is to throw away what little life you have. Think about how many hours, even days, have been lost to anger over things that, in hindsight, meant nothing. The argument that kept you awake all night. Do you even remember the details now? The stranger who irritated you? Are they still in your life? Most of the things that spark our fury vanish into nothingness, yet they rob us of hours of peace when we let them. The Stoics trained themselves to see anger not only as futile, but as theft, robbery of their most valuable possession, time. Marcus wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Imagine if this were your last hour. Would you really want to spend it stewing over something trivial? When you remember how short life is, anger loses its grip. What once seemed unbearable becomes almost laughable. Why give away your limited days to things that do not matter? Why let a fleeting irritation consume the only resource you can never replace? Each time you feel anger rising, remind yourself, my time is short, my life is too valuable, this moment will pass, and I refuse to sacrifice it to something so small. That thought alone can be enough to dissolve the fury, to return you to calm, to let you live this fleeting life with dignity instead of regret. 10th, practice forgiveness as self-liberation. The Stoics taught that holding on to anger chains you more than it punishes anyone else. When you refuse to forgive, you keep the wound open, carrying the insult or betrayal with you everywhere you go. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the best revenge is not to be like your enemy, and forgiveness is the ultimate expression of that truth. It is not about excusing what was done. It is about refusing to let it poison your spirit. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to others. It is a gift you give to yourself. It says, I will not let this person or this event live rent-free in my mind. I choose my peace over my grudge. The one who hurt you may never apologize, may never change, may never even think of you again. But if you cling to anger, you keep them alive inside you. Forgiveness is how you evict them. Think of anger like carrying a heavy stone. You tell yourself it protects you, that it's proof of how wrong they were. But in reality, it just weighs you down, exhausting you with every step. Forgiveness is setting the stone down. The other person may never feel the difference, but you will. This doesn't mean you let people walk over you or ignore injustice. It means you choose not to let their actions define your inner life. You can still set boundaries, still act firmly, but without the poison of hatred guiding your choices. Forgiveness is clarity. It is strength. It is freedom. The Stoics believe that peace belongs to the one who controls himself, not to the one who controls others, and forgiveness is the highest form of that control. It says, you may have wronged me, but you will not rule me. I will walk forward without carrying you on my back. So practice forgiveness, not because they deserve it, but because you do. Because life is too short, your peace is too precious, and your strength is too great to waste it on grudges. Anger is one of the easiest emotions to fall into, but also one of the most destructive. It promises power, but delivers only regret. The Stoics understood this deeply. Life is already short, fragile, and uncertain. Why waste it on trivial things that do not matter? These 10 lessons are reminders of that truth, that anger is futile, that your interpretation, not the event, creates your suffering, that people act from ignorance rather than malice. They teach you to pause before reacting, to reframe annoyances as practice, to stop taking yourself too seriously. They remind you that control is freedom, and anger gives it away, that calm should be your default, that time is too precious for trivial rage, and that forgiveness is the ultimate form of liberation. Together they form a way of living where you are no longer a prisoner to every insult, every mistake, every inconvenience. Instead, you become the master of your mind. You choose calm where others choose chaos. You protect your energy instead of spilling it. You rise above the pettiness of daily frustrations and stand in the rare air of self-command. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That is the essence of Stoicism. The strength is already yours. All that remains is to use it. So the next time life tests you with something small, something stupid, something not worth your anger, pause and ask, is this worth my peace? The answer will almost always be no. And in that moment of clarity, you win, not over others, but over yourself.